Good evening, Yarnies. Let me adjust my levels here. How is everyone doing tonight? Let me check the Discord real quick. Okay. Get that going. Hopefully tonight we're not going to have issues like we had Thursday night where the Twitch stream would glitch out a couple times. So, fingers crossed. Alrighty. Let's get everything going the way it needs to go. And we will get started with tonight's square. And tonight we are doing, let's zoom on in. Oh, zoom on out a little bit. We are doing the Cherry Blossom in Snow square. It's a very intricate, involved square. I think there's a total of 13 rounds. We're going to take it one round at a time. Cheese, crackers, and refreshing beverage at my side, ready to get the Crochet going. You know it, Grammy. I just had cheese and crackers myself. So, we're going to take it one round at a time. It looks intimidating. It's really not. If you break it down into small segments. And the cool thing is it only uses a little bit of yarn for each round. So it's great for scraps. So if you find colors that coordinate, kind of like the colors I chose here, then you will be in good shape. So, round one. And another new thing I'm starting to do is I'm going to take a sample of a picture of what we're making and post it there. So while we're making it, I don't have to keep moving it back and forth. And I need to get myself a yarn bowl. One of my many yarn bowls. Earlier today, I made this another basket because I need things to keep things organized and uses up that yarn that I don't like. So I'm just going to use this one here. And we're going to use our center color. Oh, first of all, this is a pattern from the website DailyCrochet.com. I think the designer's name is Jen Tyler. They recommend 10 different colors. I used about 10, maybe 8 or 9. I think I might have repeated the same color a couple times. But you don't have to use the colors that they used. I mean, if it's cherry blossom, you're probably going to want pinks for the center. But then the rest, anything that would coordinate. Like, I didn't have, like, the border for this final square and the scalloped edging. They wanted lime green. I didn't have lime green. So I went with this. I don't know what color green you would call this. But I changed it up. So with your first color, which is going to be the center of your flower, and I'm using this purple color. They recommend a color called Grape. I think they give a brand name. I'm not worried about that. So with our center color, we're going to make a magic loop. And I will zoom in and once again show how to do a magic loop for those who do not know or need a refresher. Put your tail in your hand, wrap it around your 2 fingers, bring it around and form an X, turn your hand, and then the tail that you've wrapped, put between your middle finger and your ring finger, so you have 2 strands. Take your hook and go under the first strand, over the second strand, bring it through, turn your hook. So when you turn your hook, you're actually twisting that strand. And then carefully pinch everything right here where you twisted. Remove your fingers. Get the working yarn, how you tension it. And then I'm going to chain 1. And that's going to lock it in place. So we've got our magic ring. And into our magic ring, let me turn that light out. Into our magic ring, we're doing 10 single crochets, real basic. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have our 10 going into the ring. We're going to pull our tail just a little bit. You don't have to cinch it all the way up, but we need it to get that end closer to our beginning so we can slip stitch to join. So I've closed it up most of the way. I'm not worried about it all the way yet. And now we're going to slip stitch into our very first single crochet. And if you're not certain, you can always count back, count the beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's right here. And my stitch is a little tight, so I'm going to get it the best I can and do a slip stitch to join. And then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to cut our yarn. Yes, we're cutting our yarn that early. Pull it out, cinch it up, and then with this one, I'm going to weave in my ends as I go. I'm going to flip it to the back, and I'm going to pull the tail to tighten up the magic ring. So we have a closed ring, and now we're going to weave in our ends. Go through a couple times. I'm doing this because we're going to be changing colors many times, and it's just going to be a whole lot easier, and I don't have to deal with all those tails as I get further along into other rows. Let's see where this can go. And no, I didn't plan this color with my shirt. It just happens to be the shirt that I am wearing. I didn't plan to be color coordinated. And you weave in your tails, and you cut them, you flip it over, and you're done. No, I'm joking. You're not done. Okay. So I'm going to wind up the rest of my purple yarn because we don't need this anymore. That's the only time you use that color, or the only time I'm going to use that color. So only use a little bit. So now we're going to get our next color, and I got to refer to what color I use. I want to make it somewhat similar. So I'm going to use my next color. So we've got 10 single crochets in the round. And we're going to join, and I'm going to join with a standing single crochet. And again, a standing single crochet is you put a slip knot on your hook. You find, my yarn was splitting, so I got a little extra loop there, but that's fine. You pick any stitch to start. So I'm going to go into a stitch. And this yarn is a little bit thinner, so it's a little tighter. I'm going to bring up a strand through that stitch. Come on. Come on, yarn. There we go. 2 on the hook. Yarn over through 2. That's our standing single crochet. So we've got a single crochet into that stitch. Now in that same stitch, you're going to put a half double crochet, if I can get this in here. Looking back at my notes. So in that same stitch that we have the single, we put in a half double. In that same stitch, you're going to put in 2 doubles. In that same stitch, you're going to put in another half double. And then also a single crochet in that same stitch. So in that first stitch, you got a single, a half double, two doubles, a half double, and a single. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 stitches there. Wait a minute. Hold up. Backtrack. Strike all of that. Forget that. The way the pattern's written, round 1 has 2 colors in it. So I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. Okay. Yes, I've done this before. Believe me, I've done this before. It's just been a little while. Okay. So, let's do round 2 again. Into any single crochet, we're going to put it was a frog, but it wasn't the same frog. And I'll do the command for you. There we go. All right. So, in any of these stitches, let me see what it says here real quick. Again, I've done it. It's just been a while. Single crochet, 2 chains. Okay. The way they have it worded, I'm not doing the way they have it worded. I'm going to put in a standing double crochet. Because they say chain 3. We're not chaining 3. We're doing it the other way. So we're going to slip knot on our hook, yarn over, insert it into the stitch, bring up a strand, 3 on the hook, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and we have a standing double crochet. Then we're going to skip one of our stitches, and in the next stitch, we're going to single crochet, take that back. We're going to frog out a little bit more. You would think I wasn't prepared, but I am. Okay, we will join it the way they say. So we're going to join whoops, come on. I haven't even started the thing and I'm already messing up. Okay, so I've joined and now I will chain 3. Except, yeah, we're going to chain 3. It's 1, 2, 3. It's going to look better this way if I do it this way. So we've chained 3. And then we're going to skip a stitch. And in the following stitch, do a single crochet. So I'm skipping that stitch. The next stitch, we're doing a single crochet. Single and 1, well, we join with 1, chain 3, skip a stitch, and then a single crochet. And now we're going to chain 2, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, do a single crochet. Chain 2, skip a stitch, in the following stitch, do a single. Chain 2, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, do a single. And my yarn is a little on the splitty side. The dark purple yarn, that is. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip a stitch. And when we get here, we're going to go back to where we started. We should have 5 chain spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just made the 5. I haven't connected it yet. And there'll be 5 anchor points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the very first chain that I made. Because when we joined, we had 3 chains. I'm going to slip stitch into the very first chain. So we've slip stitched. And now I'm going to chain 1. And now I'm going to cut that yarn, pull through, and tighten up. So we had 10 singles, and then round 2, we've joined, chain 3, and then skip a stitch, do a single, chain 2, skip a stitch, do a single, etc. all the way around. And when you get to the end here, you're going to have a chain 2, and you're going to slip stitch into the very first chain that you join that color. All right, now we can weave in our ends. I'm only going to weave it through once. I'm not going to make this perfect. The stitches are going to be tight enough, so I think we're going to be okay. And we're going to cut. So that's round 2, even though the instructions are going to be different, because my instructions, I don't really like how the pattern's written. So now we're going to put that color away. We're going to get our next color, which is going to be this pink. And in any of these spaces that we made, we're going to single crochet into it. And this time I will do the standing crochet. Slip knot on the hook, insert from the front of the work, yarn, bring up a strand, 2 on the hook, yarn over through 2. That's a single. Now we can do what we were trying to do earlier. So in that same space, we're going to do a half double, 2 doubles, this is older yarn, so it kind of splits. So now we got to do our 2 doubles. So this is our first double and our second double. And in that same space, doing a half double and then a single. So that's going to be the starting of our petal. Okay. Hold on a second. Am I using the right color? I'm trying to make it the same as the one I used. Actually, no, I need a different color. That frog was just because of the color choice. Maybe today's not my day. Okay. I'm going to use the color I used in round 2. You're all laughing at me. I know. Alrighty. Okay. Let's try that one more time, or a third time for this round. Okay. It's going to be the same color as what we did. You can do whatever color you want, but it's a standing a standing single crochet, a half double. Come on, splitty yarn. I don't like splitty yarn. Half double, 2 doubles, a half double, and a single. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next chain space and do a single, a half double, 2 doubles, a half double, and then a single. We're starting the petals. We're going to end up having 5 petals. The next chain space we come to, do the same thing. A single, a half double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 2 doubles, a half double, and then a single. So there's our third petal we've started. And in our next space, again, do a single. In between petals, there are no chains. We'll just keep going. So there's a single, a half double. We're going to do 2 doubles. That's 1 double, 2 doubles, and then a half double. And then we're going to put in a single. And now we're going to work on our last chain space. A single, a half double, 2 doubles. It's 1, it's 2. Then we're going to put in a half double and then put in a single. And now we're going to slip stitch to our single in our very first petal, slip stitch into that to join. And now I'm going to chain one, and now I'm really going to cut the yarn. I didn't need to cut the yarn from round 2 to round 3. The instructions does use a different color. I'm using the same color. You're not really going to see that second round as much, so I don't really need that. I don't need an extra color there. And I didn't have another pink or purple that would go with all these other colors. And now we're going to weave in our ends. Yeah, the pattern, for some reason, calls what you do in round 1 and 2 as round 1. And then what I just did there was round 2, but that's actually round 3. The pattern calls it round 2, and I don't like it. And I like the pattern, I just don't like how it's written. So there we've got our little 5 pointed petal. Now for the next round, we're going to use this pink. I'll put those colors away because I don't think I'm going to use those colors anymore. So we're going to start in between petals, any place in between the petal, and we're going to join our new color with a single crochet. And I'm going to do a standing because I'm really liking the standing stitches a lot lately. And we will join right where they meet, like right there. If I can get the yarn going the right way. And that is just a starting stitch. Technically, that's not part of the pattern. And before I do the rest of this round, we are going to go to an ad here in a second. I don't want to get too involved. And while we're at the ad, I'll reread this round so I'm a little prepared for this one. Let me just count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we should have 5. Sticks. Yeah. Alrighty, I will be back right after this ad. And welcome back. Thanks everybody for watching those ads if you ended up having to watch an ad. So, we joined our fourth round. This is our fourth round. We joined with a standing single, or however else you want to join. Make a little single crochet there. That doesn't really count as a stitch. It's just like a starting stitch. In the next, and this is in between two petals. In the next 5 stitches, you're going to put in a double crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now you're going to do a front post triple. So I'm going to wrap my hook twice, and we're going to go around that single crochet from our second round. So here's our first round. Remember when we did a single crochet, 2 chain, single crochet, 2 chain? We're going to go around those single crochets. So we're going to go around that stitch, bring it up, and then finish off your triple. And then there's a stitch here on your petals. You're going to skip that stitch because your treble, your front post triple, is going to cover it. And in the next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the next 5 will get each will get 1 double crochet. 1. Oh, I'm getting a knot in my yarn, but oh well. 2. 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to do a front post triple again. Again, on your petals, you skip the next stitch, and then the next 5, each of the next 5 gets a double crochet. 1 in each stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it's going to curl a little bit because those front post triples do create some dimension, so it's okay if it curls. Now we're going to do our front post triple. Again, skip the next stitch, and each of the next 5 get 1 double. Five. Now we're going to do another front post front post triple. Skip the next stitch, and each of the next 5 gets a double. Five. And I need to change this music. I don't care for this. I changed the song. So now we have to do our last front post triple. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first double. We're not going to slip stitch into that standing single. We're going to slip stitch into the top of the double. That standing single was just to get you kind of started. And then we're going to chain 1 and cut. Pull it, tighten it up. So it's starting to look like a cherry blossom a little bit. Flip it over, weave in your ends. I'm just going to weave it in real quick. Not going to get too worried about that. So as I'm working on this, what is everybody else working on? If you happen to be working on something, we can chat about that also while I show how to do the rest of this square. And I'm going to put that ball away for now. I might use it in the future. And now I'm going to get my next color, which is this baby pink. Oh, you're working on the refreshing beverage. Gotcha. Sometimes that's more important than a art project. Okay. So now the next round 5, even though the instructions say round 4. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start with a standing half double crochet stitch. Slip knot on the hook. And where we're going to start is right after any of your front post triples from the previous round. So I'm going to go in the very next stitch. Oh, I didn't wrap the yarn. Going to wrap it because we're doing a half double. And in the very next stitch after your front post double, insert it into the stitch, bring up a loop, 3 on the hook, yarn over through all 3, and there's your standing half double. And then that same stitch, we're going to do another half double, and then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 doubles. Come on. Why won't it? There we go. Sometimes yarn won't work with me. So in that first stitch, again, right after our front post double, we did 2 half doubles. The next stitch, 2 doubles. In the following stitch, we're going to do 3 doubles. The next stitch, we'll get 2 doubles. And the very next stitch, we'll get 2 half doubles. You should have a total of 11 stitches for that petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, we have 11. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post half double around our front post triple from the previous round. So a front post half double is we're going to wrap our yarn like a half double, go under that post, bring up the stitch, 3 on the hook, yarn over through all 3. So now for our petal from the previous round, we should have 5 stitches. Because remember we did 5 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the very first one is going to get 2 half doubles. The next one we get 2 doubles. The next one we'll get 3 doubles because that is the midpoint of the petal. 2, 3. The next one we get 2 doubles. And the very next one we get 2 half doubles. 1, and then 2. And now we've come to our front post triple from the row below. We're going to do a half post double, a front post half double. Tongue twister sometimes with crochet. And now we can repeat the pattern. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where I joined. So that going into that stitch is going to be a little difficult, but that's all right. I'm gonna fudge and go right next to it. So that gets 2 half doubles. The next one will get 2 doubles. The following stitch gets 3 doubles. 2 and 3. The next stitch will get 2 doubles. Oh, nasty knot. And then in the next stitch, we'll get 2 half doubles. Again, this isn't the best yarn. There's knots all through it. It's all right. And now around our front post triple, we're going to do a front post half double and repeat the process. So the next stitch, so let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next stitch is going to get 2 half doubles. The next one gets 2 doubles. Next gets 3 doubles. The next one, 2 doubles. And then the next one, 2 half doubles. Now we're ready to do one more petal. Front post half double. Hey there, Clean Miko, how are you? You've missed some mishaps already. The second round I already messed up because the pattern, yeah, we're blaming on the pattern. That's what we're doing. The pattern is written a little weird. And as you can see, we're doing the Cherry Blossom and Snow Square from Crochet Daily by the designer's name is Jen Tyler. But I fixed it. I fixed the mistake. It's fine. It was early on, and it was just a couple stitches with a frog. So, anyway, this pattern does not have a video. This is all a written pattern, and the way it's written, I don't really care for it. Yeah, only once. And it had been a horrible day. Oh, I'm sorry that you had to say goodbye to one of the cats. I'm sorry. You doing okay? Get some of this yarn pulled out. Yeah, I haven't had to frog in like months. We haven't, and we did the chat command. All right, so we're working on our last petal, and on our first stitch gets 2 half doubles. The next one gets 2 doubles. Next one gets 3 doubles. 2 and 3. The next one gets 2 doubles. Yeah, I like it too. It's very complicated. And I started this right when I started the stream about 45 minutes ago. And yes, we did take an ad break for like a couple minutes. And we are only on round 5. And I think there are 13 or 14 rounds. So buckle up for this one. So now our next stitch gets 2 half doubles. My yarn splits, yarn splits, yarn splits. I don't like when the yarn splits. And now we got to do our front post half double around our front post triple from the previous row. And then we're going to slip stitch to our first stitch. Come on, find the right spot. Slip stitch, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut, pull through, pull that tight, weave in my ends. Mainly, like I said, weaving in as I go because you change colors so often in this. that it's just going to be a rat's nest, even though it's going to be it's going to be on the back. There is a point that we are going to be working from the back of this, and I don't want to have to worry about all of those tails. Again, if anybody decides to make this, I would recommend weaving them in at the end of each color change. All right, so that right there, that's a cherry blossom. So if you want to just do a cherry blossom by itself, that's the cherry blossom. The rest is going to fill it out, and it's going to add all of this extra detail, the leaves, and this, I don't know what we're calling this, filigree, I guess we're calling it. It kind of looks like the way this part is raised up, most of it, except for the last couple rounds, it kind of looks like a piece of painted china, like a saucer. So I guess I'm calling it filigree. So now we are going to, let's see, I gotta find, there's a very long pattern. We're going to choose our next color. It's going to be this green color. And I think it's supposed to stand in for leaves. Now, let me just double check, because again, it's been a few weeks since I made this. And I don't remember every stitch I've ever done on all my squares. Okay, behind the front post, half double from the previous round. Into it, chain 3. All right. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is so behind, we have our front post half double on the back side there. You're kind of going to pick up a couple strands. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be the back side. And that's what we're going to work into. But before we do this, I need to get my green. And I'm going to do a standing double crochet. So again, if people need a refresher on a standing double crochet, we're going to put our, you can also join and then chain 3, but standing double crochet, you put a slip knot on your hook like normal, yarn over, and then in the space we're going to join, which happens to be on the back side, where those 2 petals meet, and on the back side of this half double, this front post half double we made, right behind there on the back side, just pick up a couple strands, however you can get it. And then we're going to bring up a strand. Oh, I didn't keep my hook the right way. Yarn over. So you got your knot on your hook, yarn over, and with your finger hold on to both loops. And then insert it into the stitch. Bring up the strand, 3 on the hook. Yarn over through 2. And then yarn over through 2. That's a standing double crochet. Then into the same space, crochet 2 double crochet clusters, chain 3. Okay, in that same space, we're going to put in another double crochet, and then one more. Come on. One more double crochet. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to still double check my sample. Yeah, okay. So you put 3 double crochets in there. Then we're going to chain 3. And into that same space, put 3 more double crochets. So we're working on the back side. We're not working in let me get my pointer. We're not working in the stitches of the last round. We're working right behind that front post half double crochet here on the back side. So the leaves are going to be behind the flower. They're not going to be attached to the side. They're going to be behind it. So that gives a little more three-dimensional look to it. So in that one space, you essentially have 3 double crochets. Again, you can join and chain 3 and then do 2 more doubles. But I just did the standing double and then 2 more doubles. So you get your granny cluster. And then you chain 3 for the corner, and then you chain 3 here. We're going to be working into this space the following round. So this is going to form 2 leaves right there. And then I got to this is a very wordy 3. It's a very wordy pattern. Okay, chain 3 and single crochet into 2 strands behind the third double crochet. Okay. It's a very wordy pattern. So now, after we've done our first little leaf cluster, we're going to chain 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle double crochet of this petal. It's easy to find because when we were doing it, we were doing 2 half double crochets in these stitches, 2 double crochets in this stitch, and this middle stitch had 3 doubles. So you're going to find that middle stitch that has 3 doubles in it, and you're going to find that middle stitch. And on the back side, under 2 strands of that stitch on the back side, so it doesn't show from the front, it will not show from the front here. I'm right here. Just under those 2 strands, we're going to single crochet. It's an anchor point. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 and then ignore that little knot. And now we're going to go behind this front half double crochet, just like when we started, into those 2 strands there. We're going to do 3 doubles. So we've wrapped because we're doing a double. And this takes some finger gymnastics to get everything the right way. So I've wrapped for double, and then I'm going in the back side of those. And then I'm going to put my double in that stitch, put 2 more doubles. That's 1 leaf. Now chain 3, and in that same space, do 3 more doubles. 2 and 3. So if you've got this far, you got your first leaf thing, leaf grouping, and then we've got our second one. And again, in between the 2, we've chained 3, single crochet behind that middle stitch of that petal, chain 3, and then make another grouping. And that's the repeat. We're going to keep doing the same thing. We're going to chain 3. Now find the middle stitch of the petal, and on the back side, go through 2 strands. Again, this is definitely an advanced square. And then you're going to single crochet. And now 3 chains. And now we're going to put our leaves in again. And they are always joined where these front post half double crochets are. And they are comprised of 3 doubles, 3 chains, and 3 doubles. But it's on the back side. Get in there however I can. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and in that same space, 3 more doubles. If anybody is going to make this, again, I've linked the website in the description, and it will also be on the YouTube down below. If you have any problems with it, message me, and I could probably walk you through it. So now we're going to chain 3, and again, find the middle stitch of the next petal, and on the back side, go under 2 chains and do a single crochet, chain 3, and now we're going to put in our leaves behind the next, in between the next, between the next 2 petals, but on the back side of that front post, half double. I'm just going wherever I can get it, right there on that back side. Sometimes it's a little tricky. And again, in that space, in that same stitch, you're going to do 3 doubles, 3 chains, and 3 doubles. And now we have 1 more to do. And before I go any further, we are going to go to an add. And while we're at add, I will finish the rest of this round. And we will be right back. All right, welcome back. While we were at the ad, and again, thank you everybody for watching the ad. While we were at the ad break, I finished that round. All I did was finish the last leaf, chain 3, single crocheted into the back of that middle stitch, chain 3, and then joined to my first stitch. So that was the end of round 6. Before I go any further, we're going to take a little break, and I'm going to give you some heads up of what's coming up in July. Coming up in July, for those of you who are part of the Discord, I've got a poll going on in there, and if you want, you can respond to it. I am going to be doing some vintage crochet patterns from like the 40s and the 50s, and would like some input if somebody wants to see coasters or edgings, or what was some of the other things I said? Cuffs, doilies, collars, etc. I will be doing some of those, and I think on Thursdays starting in July, I know everybody does this, not just here on Twitch or YouTube, but we're going to have Throwback Thursday, so Thursdays will be our vintage day, and I've already got a couple things planned for July already, but I want to show you what I got in the mail from eBay today, and I'm not going to go through them, I'm just going to show you the covers, but I got some vintage crochet pamphlets, I guess you would call them, booklets, from, I think these are all from the early to mid 50s. These are different edgings, and the glare is not really helping here. So there's that one, and I got this one here, and I have this one. So there's a bunch of edgings, and there's a fourth book. There's a fourth book that I got. I have not thumbed through it yet. I've seen some of the pages on a YouTube video, but I haven't really looked at those. I gave the book to Grammy. She is in possession of it right now, and there are 100 edgings in that book, and that book is from 1945. And I told her she's going to look through them, find a bunch that she likes, that she would like to see made. And the day of the stream, on that day that I do edgings, which will not be, I'm not going to do the edgings on every Thursday. But when I do an edging show, a vintage show with any decorative edgings, before the stream, I'm going to get the book, and I'm not going to open it. And she is going to tell me the name of probably 2, or the number, I think their number, of 2 of the edgings that she has chose. And when I open it up and look at it, when you see it for the first time, will be the first time I'm seeing it, and we're going to make it on stream. So it's going to be a surprise for me. I don't know what's going to be going on until we're here live. There are 2 other ones that I have found on, yes, the book is older than Grammy. 2 that I have planned already for July. The first one is a coaster pattern, and the second one is a doily pattern. And those I got there's a website called freevintagecrochet.com. I've linked it in the Discord in the YouTube section, even though it's not a YouTube channel. For the ones that I know about, that I've already chose, I will make my sample, and this isn't the right one. Here, got it right here. So if it's something I already know what I'm going to be making, like a coaster or a doily or whatever, I will make my sample in really thin crochet cotton thread. Okay? That will be the sample that you're going to see on, that I'm going to have as a reference. Like the picture right above me. So you'll know what size it should be. But on stream, I'm going to use worsted weight yarn so you can see the stitches. So on stream, it's going to be a whole lot bigger than what it should be. But just so you can actually see what's going on. So there's a whole lot of different things to pull from. Some old vintage interesting patterns. And also part of it is going to be trying to interpret what they mean, because there really was, even back in the 40s and 50s, there weren't a lot of standardization on certain things. There was more standardization than there were in the 1800s. So at least they're all US terms. They're not UK terms. I don't have to translate into US terms. But that is what will be coming up starting in July on Thursdays. So let's get ready for round 7 of our cherry blossom. So we got our cute little cherry blossom with our leaves. And we're going to start with a standing single crochet. And again, I'll probably do this for the next couple streams, show how to do standing stitches. Then after that, I'm not going to go through and really explain. You're going to put a slip knot on your hook, and we're doing a standing single. And we're going to find one of our chain 3 spaces. And we're going to go to this one here, one next to a leaf. So our first one here, we're going to put the hook in from the front, pull up a strand, 2 on the hook, yarn over. There's a single crochet. In that same space, we're going to put 3 more singles, so we'll have a total of 4. So there's our 4 singles. And then the chain 3 space between our leaves, this little corner space, we're going to put in they call it a mini puff. Usually puffs, you're going to do your half double motion or whatever 5 times. We're only going to do it, how many times do they say? 3 times, so it's a mini puff. So we're going to yarn over, go in, bring up a strand. So there's 1. Yarn over, go in, bring up a strand, there's 2. Yarn over, go in, bring up a strand, there's 3. Then yarn over through everything, and I did it right. And then chain 1 to lock our puff. So there's our first puff. And in that same space, we're going to chain 2. We're going to do another mini puff. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to lock it. And then chain 2. And again, in that same space, do another mini puff. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to lock it. So to recap, in our first space here, we did 4 single crochets, and then in our space between our leaves, that music is a little on the loud side for me, do a mini puff, chain 2, mini puff, chain 2, mini puff. And let's see what else they said. Stitch over. Okay. Then in the next space, this next space here between the leaf and our join, we're going to do 4 singles. 2, 3, and 4. In our next space, do 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, I didn't mention, back to these vintage books. So I got 4 of them. I've also got 3 more vintage ones coming, and I think those are also edgings also. I think we'll be good with edge and border stitches. All right, back to this. I wanted to remember that while I was thinking it. So we got 4 singles into that space. Then in between our 2 little leaves in that corner type thing, we're going to do the mini puff. So 1, 2, and 3. And I got to redo it. I didn't pull up the strands far enough. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's a mini puff. Chain 1. And then 2 chains. And another mini puff. 1, 2, and 3. Pull through all of them. Even that last one. chain 1 to lock it, and now chain 2, and then 1 more mini puff into that same space. 1, 2, 3, pull through all, and chain 1 to lock it. What we're working on now, is what I'm calling the beginning of the filigree. It's all the fancy stuff that if it would be on a piece of painted china, it would be all the extras. So in this space, we're going to do 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip to the next space, do 4 more singles. And now we're going to do our series of puffs in the corner. 1, 2, and 3. If I can... Nope, I didn't. I always do that. I never make them tall enough. 1, 2, 3. Lock it. Chain 2. And then 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to lock it. Chain 2. And now we're going to put in our last puff for this corner. 3. I lost it. 2, 3. And now we keep working all the way around. Chain 4, not chain 4. 4 singles into that chain space. And 4 singles in the next chain space. And in our corner, we're going to do our puffs. Our mini puffs, they call them. And in between each mini puff will be 2 chains. Two chains. Three. Need to pull out enough slack. 4. 1, 2, 3. Whoopsies. Snagging the leaf. Don't snag the leaf. 3, 4. I'm on my last groupings of puffs. Did I do it right? Yeah, I did it right. Oh, another nasty knot. Hopefully that can be hidden in that puff. If not, that's all right. We'll ignore it. It's on the back side. We'll ignore it. I lost the puff. Chain 1 to lock. And now, all we have to do, get everything untangled, in that last chain space here, we do 4 singles. And then, that's all right if you're not talkative. That's cool. And I understand if you're working on a shawl and you're busy. And so then we're going to slip stitch to join and chain 1 and end the yarn. Now we're going to weave in our ends, and we're going to ignore that knot. So that was round 7. Like I said, I think there's like 13 or 14 rounds. So we're almost halfway done, roughly halfway done. Told you this is an involved square. Post a pic in Discord later. I'm using Karen latte cakes. Oh, nice. can't remember which one the latte cakes are. There's so many of them, I can't keep track of, like, what is the latte and the cupcake and the cinnamon this and the that and the... Alrighty. Fuzzy and so soft. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay, yeah, now I remember. So there we have done round 7. Let me take a little drink. And now we're going to do round 8. And put my off-white to the side. And I think I might be using a different color than I had before because I ran out of that. We're going to use this. This we used in the center, but we're going to use it again. Because I ran out of this pink color. So, what we're going to do... Wait a minute. It isn't fancy. I'm not following any patterns came up within your head. Hey, that's how most patterns start. Is people come up with it in their head. Excited that I'm trying new things. Yeah, definitely. Expand your horizons. Oh, okay. Technically, I screwed up on that round, but I'm not going to go and fix it. Technically, between the groupings of four singles, so the 4 singles here and the 4 singles here, you're supposed to do a single front post around that. Oops, we're not going to go back and fix it. It is what it is. And you're not really going to see it. And hopefully, yeah, you're not going to see it. It's not important. Okay. So now, okay, we're going to do a standing single crochet stitch. And where the single front post single stitch would have been right here. I'm going to go in that, and where it would have been, and do a standing single crochet, because that's where they want you to do it. They want you to do a single crochet into that single crochet front post, but we don't have it. So we joined, and now, okay. Now we're going to chain 3. And in this space between our 4 singles and our puff, so right here, we are going to do 3 half doubles. The pattern is written really strange. So there's 3 half doubles in that. They're also using the abbreviations that are weird. So we do 3 half doubles into that space, chain 1, and in the next space, do 3 half doubles, chain 1, in the next space, do 3 half doubles, chain 1, and then in the space right after the last puff, we're going to do 3 half doubles. 2 and 3. This row is pretty easy. Now we're going to chain 3, and where that front post single crochet would have been, which is my bad, we're going to do a single crochet. So we're going to fudge it right in there. And that's the repeat. So now we chain 3, and in that first space, because there's spaces on either side of our puff. So we'll have 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. In each of those 4, we'll get 3 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, go to the next space and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't help that my yarn is splitty. Chain 1, and then do our 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then our last one. Whoopsies. It snagged that green. Claymaker, once you have the basic skills, I set buoy, create a flow. That's when the fun starts. My brain is always saying, what if? Yep. You definitely will be challenging yourself. And from that text, creatively flow. From that text, it sounds like somebody's really enjoying their beverage. Chain 3, and then we're single crochet where that front post single crochet would have been. If you follow the pattern correctly, chain 3, and then our groups of half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. I'm not judging. Chain 1, and then our group of 3. 2, 3. I'm not judging because I'm missing stitches and I'm sober. I'm missing total rounds and I'm sober. Chain 1, and then the next thing, do our set of 3. 2, come on. That didn't work. I don't know, I'm going to listen to your advice. Yeah. And if it, like I always say, and I know you're probably tired of me hearing me say it, crochet is not permanent. If it doesn't work, rip it out. Try something new. Three. And I'm just finishing this all the way around. 3. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, 2. The third one. Oh, I still got a whole nother petal to do. Chain 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. And we're going to do our last little grouping right here of this section. Not the very last one for the round. I don't like splitty yarn. This is also old splitty yarn. Chain 3. Do our little single stitch. And our last grouping of our 3 clusters chain 1 series, or 3 half doubles, I should say. 2, 3, chain 1, 2, 3, chain 1. This is our last group of 3 half doubles. And then chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch into our very first single crochet to join, chain 1, and now we can cut, pull it through, weave in those ends. So it's growing. It's definitely growing. And yes, eventually this will become a square. This will not just be a star. That's the part that I am definitely going to get a headache, because that's the part I don't like, is changing it into a square. But we can do it. We just weave into the pink, because I don't want any of this pink showing through that cream. Flip my tails. And that was round 8. Right? Yeah, that was round 8. We're going to put away that pink color yarn for now. And we're going to get this blue. Add some blue to this. Got to see where they want me to join first. Okay, we're going to go to an ad. While we're on ad, I am going to review this because this is a very complicated round. So I will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Again, thank you for sitting through the ads. All right, so round, we say this is 8, 9, 8, whatever. I don't know. I've lost count. So the next round, where we have these clusters of 3 half double crochets, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, in between them, not the ones on the ends, but you're gonna have spaces. You're gonna have 3 spaces between those 4. So 1, 2, 3. We're gonna work into the very first space right here, and into that we're gonna put 4. What? Wait. No. Why was it playing Christmas songs? No. I don't know why that was playing that. Anyway. Distracted me. Okay. Where was I? So. Hey there, Upcycly. How are you? And thank you for the lurk. So we've got these spaces here. 1, 2, 3. And in this first one, we're going to put 4 single crochets. But we're going to start with a standing single crochet. And I don't think I'm going to show how to do this because I've showed this probably 4 or 5 times already on this tonight on this stream. So I'm going to start with a standing. You can start with any other way that you join, but we need a single crochet there. And in that same space, do 3 more singles. And then we're going to skip all the way to the next space and do 4 more singles. Oh, I was doing doubles there. So do 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And do the same thing in the very next space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're adding a little bit of blue. And we're going to chain 1. Now, if you had, again, I messed up, but if you had that front post single crochet in this cream color, you would go around that. Since we don't have it, we're going to end up going around the green strand from the row below, which is fine. And we're going to do 3 front post triples around that stitch. There's 1. 2. And then there's the third one. This is going to form a type of leaf. It's not really a leaf. And then what we're going to do, so we've got our 3 front post triples around that post. Chain 1. Then we're going to single crochet. Okay. Why is it playing Christmas? Okay. We're going to skip to this. Sorry. So we got our 3 front post triple crochets around that. We've chained 1. Then around our first chain space of this pink, we're going to do a single crochet, right? Yeah. Then into this single crochet, this pink single crochet here, do another single crochet. And then we are going to repeat this little leaf thing. So around that same post, we're going to put in 3 front post triples. And it might look like you're making a rat's nest, because the first time I did this, that's what I thought. And I'm like, what am I doing? And again, there was no video. And now we are going to wait, no, we're not going to chain there. We are going to, let me double check. chain 1, and now we're going to find the space in between those half double crochet clusters, and in each space put 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to anchor that for a second, and I'm going to fluff up what we made. It's going to look a little weird at first, but you made this fan type thing. When we add the next row, it's going to cover up part of this, and it's going to look more like it should. It looks, I know it's bizarre, but that is the stitch. In the next space, we're going to put 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the next space, do 4 singles. Okay. Now I can do that all over again. We're going to chain 1. And around that post, we're going to do 3 front post triples. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. And then around this chain, we're going to do a single crochet. And then in that single crochet, that pink one, we'll do another single crochet. And now around the post, do 3 more front post triples. 2, 3, chain 1, and now we can go and do our 4 singles in these spaces. 2, 3, 4. Keep going around. And I'm only on row, I think 9. Just imagine if you wanted this for a blanket. This would take a long time because each square takes a long time to make because it's so intricate. All right. I'm going to get more slack out. We're going to chain 1. Now we're going to do our front post triples. Chain 1. And then we're going to single crochet that, single crochet into the stitch. And that stitch is a weird, very loose stitch. I don't like that stitch. And then we're going to chain 1 and do our 3 front post triples. If I can wrap it the correct number of times. Chain 1, and now we can continue. Believe it or not, this is not one of the difficult rounds. We haven't got there yet. Four, 2, 3, and 4. And then do that again. Chain 1. I'll do our 3 front post triples. Two. And number 3. Chain 1. Now we're going to connect it here into that, and then into that, And chain 1 and do it all over again. Another nasty knot. Ugh. I think I must have tied them before I knew how to properly join yarn. So that's why there's knots in this. Another knot. What was I thinking? Number 4. And we have one more of these weird quote-unquote leaf groupings. I promise you, next week, 2 of the squares will be a whole lot easier than this. The first one will be a little complicated. The first one, meaning Tuesdays, we're not... Oh, I did slip stitch. On Tuesdays, we're not changing colors. It's all going to be one color. So that's going to be a little bit, I guess, better. Tuesdays is complicated, and at some point I will show you a sneak peek of it. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. And now I can join my round. Slip stitch to join. Chain 1 and cut. Pull that out. And let's weave in the tails. And again, ignore the knots. So it is starting to look like a mess. Yeah, this is the most complicated square of the month. Everything else is, won't say simple, but less complicated than this. All right. So it's starting to look like something. Okay. Scroll down. Okay, this round is our edging round of this point. There'll be more edging, but it's the edging here, this dark green. That's what we're going to be working on now. This round is relatively simple. And I know it's going to be dark to show up on camera. I don't really have another green color. You know what? So it'll show up on camera. I'm going to use the same green that I used there, because I've got a bunch of it. Alrighty. New color into single crochet around. I gotta remember where they want me to attach this. I mean, they have pictures on this, but it's not really. Okay. Oh. Alrighty. Okay. So we're going to look in here and we're going to see this pink row, the single crochet here. We're going to work into that. So we're basically going to be covering up these stitches here. So we're going to work into that pink stitch. And into that stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. And I'm just going to do a front post single crochet into that to attach it. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. They can't mean. I got to look up my sample. Yeah, they did. Wait, it's not a front post. It's a regular stitch. We're not going around the post. We're going into where this blue stitch was attached. We're going to go right in there. Okay. Into that same stitch. Okay, we got to chain 3. I could have done a standing double. But we'll just do it the way we have it there. Into that same stitch, do 4 double crochets. 2, 3, and 4. So we've made a little fan. Then we're doing a front post half double around the top of this leaf. So those 3, these blue stitches are called, they're going to call them leaves. So around all 3 of those stitches, we're doing a front post half double. So it'll all bring them up to almost like a point. And then I got to count these stitches here. Reading fan, 11 stitches. Okay. In all of those single crochets that you did here, you did 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here. In all of those, they're each going to get a single crochet. Going to go and just do a single crochet into all of those stitches. Basically repeating that row because we didn't chain in between for that row. Okay. Now around this quote-unquote leaf, we're going to do a front post half double, and that is drawing everything up into somewhat of a point. And then in this pink stitch, we're going down 2 rows, so not the blue, the next one down. Into that stitch, we're doing 5 doubles. We're creating a fan here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then around the next 3 front, those blue stitches, that quote-unquote leaf, doing a front post half double. And then all of these singles get a single. That's where I join, so I'm gonna. It doesn't really matter if I skip 1 stitch here because this is a border. Nothing's going to be going into the row that I'm working on now. That is going to be our edge here because the rest of it will be applied to the back side. This part sticks up from the square. This row is not too bad. Then around that leaf, front post half double. And then in between here, we see that little pink stitch. That gets 5 doubles. 2, 3, 4, and number 5. And again, around the other quote-unquote leaf, do another front post half double. And let the yarn slip off your hook, that you have to redo this stitch entirely, plus the previous stitch before that. It's very important you do that. Okay, let's try that again. And now we're going to do singles and singles for this. I guess you're going to call it a scallop section. That's what I would call it. And this is just putting an edging on it to frame it. It is the next few rows after this. I think it's the very next row is the one that's really confused me. But we're not there yet. Again, in that pink single crochet, we'll get 5 doubles. You're making a fan in that stitch. 3. You have to run. Okay, good night, Clay Mika. I will talk to you later. 5. And then we're going to do our front post half double. And now we can do our singles and our singles. Working my way around. Again, relatively easy row. 2, 3, and 5. Now do our front post half double around that leaf and continue. We're going to do our last front post half double. And now we're going to slip stitch into our very first stitch that we made, or the top of the chain. That happens to be a chain. Slip stitch, chain 1, and finish. Got another round on, finally. And weave in the end. Imagine if I didn't weave in all my ends, all these colors you'd see, you'd have tails everywhere. And that changing colors that often and that close together, it would get in my way. It would not have a good time. So take your time and weave in as you go. At least for this project. I don't always weave in my tails as I go. Like my temperature blanket, I've got more whole bunch of tails. Hey there, Fruity Bear Lover. Bear Love, how are you? Alrighty. So, we've got our flower part done. Flower in our filigree. And that alone is fine. And before we do our next round, we have an ad coming up here in a few seconds. And let me double check what I got to do for the next round. Oh, the next round is the round that's going to give me a headache. So, let me prep something real quick. I'm going to use this. When we come back from the ad, I will walk us through slowly, if I can, for round 11. 11 is the one that's going to make you, it would make me pull my hair out if I had hair. And we will be right back. All right, welcome back. Thank you for sitting through those ads. Okay, for round 11, we're going to flip over to the back. Now, it might sound weird, but you're going to take a piece of yarn an inch long and set it to the side. We're going to need that here in a second. And let me turn my volume down a little bit so I can think. So, this is the point where we're taking it from something that's 5-pointed, or if you want to say 10-pointed, because you've got these fans and these scallops. So something that's circular-ish, and we're going to make it square. So you're going to need 18 stitch markers, or 18 bits of yarn, or whatever, because you're going to be marking things off at 18 points. So on the second row in, the blue row, you're going to evenly space your 18 stitch markers all the way around. That's where your little piece of yarn comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to find, from the front, we're going to find a pleasing point, so like geometrically. So if we want our square, and it doesn't really matter, but if we want that to be quote-unquote the top of our square, or that, or however we want. So let's say that's going to be our top of the square. You're not going to have it even because you have 5, and you can't get 5 points evenly in a square. So this is going to be a side, and this will be a side, and those will be sides. So we're going to flip it here, and it just so happens it's going to be right in this area, which is fine. So where this fan is, we're going to put in a stitch marker right about there. Actually, I'm going to move it off to the side a little bit, primarily in that blue. If it gets into the green, that's fine too. But you want to keep it right around that where that blue row is, and the blue row does go under these strands of this green. And I'm using paper clips. So there's one, and I've got 18 here. I've counted 18. And I'm going to take, and it makes sense. I tried doing a ruler, and it didn't work for some reason. I guess because this can curve a little bit. And you don't have to be exact. I found that if I do a little bit extra, it's fine. So that's about 1 inch. And I go a little extra, and in the next stitch, I'm going to put a stitch marker. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work my way around. And I'm going to go a little extra. You can always move these around. And I'm going to work my way around and putting in these stitch markers, because these stitch markers are where you're going to be doing some single crochets in the round. So this is prep work that kind of has to be done, and it can curve, so it's not going to be a straight inch. So it's going to go right in there. And then it's going to go right in there. And I know you really, well, you can kind of see my stitch markers. They're not really showing up because they're not real stitch markers. And you're just going to go all the way around in that blue row. Roughly put them evenly spaced. So this one's going to go a little bit more. It's going to go actually over here. Doesn't have to be exact. And for some reason, like I said, that little bit of yarn, that inch-long piece of yarn, helps. So again, imagine doing a blanket with this, and you got to do this for each square. That'd be a lot. I wouldn't probably do this square on all the squares of a blanket, because this is somewhat thick, because even though it's not building up layers on top, it's still, there are some multiple layers, and it is three-dimensional, so I would use this as an accent. Okay, I'm going to put this one right here in these green stitches. I go a little bit extra, but sometimes. Now, I've got 4 stitches markers left, and I'm like, am I going to have enough? I might have enough. If not, I'm going to go back and double check that I have 18 of them. Also, I may have to move some of these around, adjust them slightly here and there. That's why I'm putting them a little bit further away than an inch. And it's not an exact measurement, it's an approximate. I think I might have to adjust things, or I have to double check, make certain I have 18. Another reason why this is definitely not a beginner's project. Okay, that's going to go right where this knot is. Okay, it looks like I can get another one in there. I'm going to make certain I have 18. Too many shots for the system. What? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, I got to move things around a little bit. And I'm just going to adjust things so they're a little bit more evenly spaced. And, all right, that's close enough. So now we've marked them. Now we're going to get our, it doesn't matter what color yarn. I would use the same color, one of the same colors you have. You're not really going to see this as much. This is more of a foundation row to make it square. So this is not going to be square itself. You're going to stitch into this to make it square. So this is, the easy part is coming now. Is doing single crochets and chain spaces. The hard part was that. So I'm going to start with a standing single crochet, and I'm going to pick any of these spots, and you don't want it to show on the front, so you're just going to go under the back stitches, and I'm going to join here. So I'm going to bring it up and then do my little standing single crochet. And after I've joined it there, I can take the stitch marker out because that is the spot. And now I'm going to chain 4. And then at the next spot, do a single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way around, trying to get under and not show on the other side is key. So do a single crochet and then chain 4. Do the next spot here. Getting in the stitch is not the easiest. Or do the next one. Hey there, Mushroom Goddess 777. How are you? And I'm trying to get into the stitch. Not easy, because we're going into the back sides, and we don't want anything to show on the front. I'm all right. I'm working on this square right that's above me. It's the Cherry Blossom in Snow Square that is on the blog Crochet Daily Crochet. Oh, I didn't chain 4. I got a stitch in here. The blog Daily Crochet, and the designer's name is Jen Tyler. I think it's a pattern from 2016. And I'm working on one of the last rows. I'm squaring it I'm taking it from a 5-pointed, maybe 10-pointed, 5-pointed, I guess, and squaring it. Oh, I just felt a stitch marker fall, but I think it's one I already took out. 1, 2, yeah, okay. 2, 3, 4. Go into the next one where I've marked. Again, this is the row I don't like, but we're getting close to the end. We are definitely getting close to the end, and it's taken me so far about 2 hours to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not because I stitch slow, it's a very complicated square. And this row is slow because you're going into the backs of the stitches, not where you normally would. And my yarn is splitty. Three, 4. Right into. Come on. Doesn't want. I also stitch tight, so the stitches are not being my friend. One, 2, 3, 4. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just working my way all the way around. When I get done, I'm going to have 18 chains 4 spaces separated by 18. Well, I should have 18 single crochets separated by 18 chain 4 spaces, and I didn't chain 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of have to use your hook and just force the stitch in there. Move my makeshift stitch markers out of the way. Oh, that's an easy stitch. That's an easy stitch. Okay, we got an easy one to go into. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four. getting close to the beginning. So we are making progress on this round. I don't like how that's joined. Yeah, I'm going to go into these green stitches here because it would probably show through if I go through that blue stitch there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is my last stitch marker. When I get done this row, I am going to double check that I have 18 segments. Let me check now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. It's not exact. It might pull a little bit. I'm gonna fudge this here. I'm gonna go in right here. I don't think it's gonna make a difference that I wasn't exactly meeting up. But what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna chain 2. I'm not gonna count that when I do the following row. I just need something to join. And I'm gonna join with a slip stitch, chain 1, cut, bring it out and tighten it up. So I fudged a little bit. That's what you got to do. So that was the difficult row because of all of the stitch markers, and there's not an exact place to go. Okay. That's a lot of brain work. I would almost be tempted to make the flower, then attach it to a really plain granny square. You can do that too. Yeah. Okay. Got that part done. Now we are going to do row. There are 3 more rows, and I promise you these are a lot easier. These are a whole lot easier, these next 3 rows. So we're going to use our next color. They call for turquoise, and I didn't have any turquoise. So I'm going to use this robin's egg blue, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you call this. All right. So we're going to attach to one of these chain spaces, not that chain 1 space, which I got to find where that chain 1 space was. Or that chain 2, that's my little fudge. That's not supposed to be there. So I'm going to attach right before it so I can stitch around it. Okay. Attach, half double. Okay. So with the right side facing you, but again, we're working into that row we just did. So we're not working on the back side, we're working on the front side, but into that back row. We're going to I'm going to start with a standing half double crochet into that chain space, and then 3 more half doubles, 2 and number 3, and then in the next one we're going to do 4 half doubles, 2, kind of like we just did in the first one, 3 and 4, slip stitch, Wait a minute. And 4 into the next chain space. Okay. Then in the next chain space, we're going to slip stitch. Wait a minute. Hold on. Four double crochets in the first chain space, 4 in the next. Oh, wrong. Okay. 4 in the first chain space, 4 in the next, and actually 4 in all of the chain spaces. So you're doing 4 half double crochets in all chain spaces. 3, 4. Again, the way it's worded is really strange. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's no chains in between. You're just doing half doubles. We're not really squaring up right now. We will square up in the following round. 3 and 4. 2, 3, 4. And again, you're just doing 4 in each chain space. Whoop. 2, 3, 4. We're coming to the home stretch. Promise you, the hardest part is over. Except when I got to frog out a few stitches because you split the yarn. 2, 3, 4. Now do 4 more. I got to get enough slack. 2, 4. 3 and 4. Got a couple more groupings to do. 4. 3 and 4. Oh, I got more than a couple here. Two more spaces. 4. Now our last group of 4. We're going to slip stitch to our first stitch. If I can find the stitch. All right, and we're not going to cut the yarn. And I know it looks like a total mess here. It will flatten out. Okay, now. Okay, I got to double check this. Clockwise and count 9. We're keeping the color here. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. Actually, before we start this round, we're going to go to an ad. So it's going to start in about a minute. And I don't want to get started this round and then it cuts over. So I'm going to put away some of my scraps. I saved my scraps for a project that I've got coming up. Even my little tiny little bits of yarn I'm going to save. And I'm going to decipher this step while we go to add. And I will be right back. And welcome back. Again, thank you for sitting through that ad. I figured out this row. It all came back to me. So, where we left off is we slip stitch to join for that round. Now, this next row, we're going to chain 3. And in that same stitch, actually, you know what? We're not going to chain 3. Just to make it, sit right, I'm going to slip stitch to join. That's a weird type of stitch there. I'm going to slip stitch into one more stitch over. And that's where we're going to end up doing our chain 3. So we're going to chain 3. And in that same stitch, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. So that's a total of 3, because that chain 3 counts as 1. And now we're going to chain 2. And in that same stitch, do 3 double crochets. Chain 2. And in that very same stitch, do 3 more double crochets. It's a lot of stitches into one stitch. 2 and 3. So again, that first stitch, you're going to chain 3, do 2 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. So you're going to have this little trapezoid shape thing. That's your corner. Then in the next 4 stitches, are going to get a half double crochet. No, we're going to get double crochets in the next 4 stitches. So 1 in each. 1 double, 2 double, 3, and then 4. The next 4 stitches will each get a half double. The next stitch gets a single. The next 4, they each get a half double. The next 4 each get a double. Two, 3, and 4. So that is our side. So there's, after a corner, there's 4 double, 4 half double, 1 single, 4 half double, and 4 double. So that's a total of 17 stitches. In our very next stitch, we're going to do our corner. So we're going to put 3 doubles into that one stitch. We're going to chain 2, and in that same stitch, 3 more doubles. Chain 2, and again, in that very same stitch, 3 more doubles. Oh, that was a half double. I got to do that stitch all over again. Okay, the next 4 stitches, they each get a double. So we're working on the side again. 2, 3, and 4. The next 4 each get 1 half double. The next one gets a single. The next 4 each get a half double. Four. The next 4, each of them gets a double. 2, 3, and 4. And now the next stitch is where our corner is going to go, and that gets 3 doubles. Two chains, 3 doubles. 2 chains, and then 3 more doubles. Two and 3. Again, we're going to do our sides. The first 4 each get a double. Four. The next 4 each get a half double. 3, 4. The next stitch gets a single. Next 4 each get a half double. The next 4 each get a double. Four. Now we've come to our last corner. So that stitch again gets, that one stitch gets 3 doubles, 2 chains, 3 doubles, 2 more chains, and 3 more doubles. Again, that's a lot of stitches going into one stitch, but it forms this, I don't know what you call it. It's a corner, but it has the point chopped off. So it's not a corner. So now the next 4 each get a double. 2, 3, and 4. Next 4 each get a half double. 3, 4. The next one gets a single. Hopefully my math is going to work out. So the next 4 each get a half double. 3, 4, and I should have 4 stitches left. 2, 3, 4. I have 4. And each of those will get a double crochet. Number 4. And now I can slip stitch to join. I'm going to chain 1. I am going to cut my yarn, pull through, and that was row number 13. We have one more row, and I know it looks like a mess. This thing is always a mess until it's done, and even then, and where did I lost my needle. Oh no, I lost my needle. Well, you know what? We're not going to weave in that end right now because I don't have my needle. I just had it. Okay, it'll turn up. So, now we're going to do our very last row, and our very last row is simple. Very last row. Let me just double check something. 3 space between. Okay, so we're going to start in our corner here. And those corner spaces where you have those 2 chain spaces. First, we're going to start before our corner. So those 3 are our corner. So we're going to start right here where we joined. And we're going to start with a standing single. Actually, I need to go into the stitch, not into the space. You think I would know how to crochet. And I'm going to end up stitching over my tail. which is fine since I can't find that needle. So we've done that. And then in each of the next 2 stitches gets a single. In the chain space here, you're going to get 3 singles. And then in those 3 stitches, might be better if I show it this way. Those 3 stitches, they're each going to get a single. This is probably one of the simplest rows. In the chain space, gets 3 singles. The next 3 stitches, that's still the corner. Those 3 are each going to get a single. And essentially, every stitch is going to get a single until you get to the corners here. And in those chain 2 spaces here, you're going to put 3 singles in each of them. So that's all it is, a single crochet all the way around, except those spaces in the corners. Each of those will have a total of 8 spaces. Each of those will get 3 singles. Yeah, and this is probably, like I said, the easiest row of them all. After all of that we went through, we get to relax a little bit and just do single crochet. This is the final round. Make certain you go through every stitch. And then the corner, again, those chain spaces each get 3. And then remember, there's 3 stitches on that lopped off corner. And each of those get a single. And then the same thing. 3 into the space. And then 1 into each of these stitches all the way along. Out more slack on that yarn. Coming up to another corner, but I just keep going until I get to that chain 2 space. Here I am. Get 3 in there. Just continue. One in the chain space. 2 more. And I think I'm on my last corner. Oh, why am I doing doubles? I'm automatically doing doubles there. We don't need to do doubles. It's all singles. We're on the very last side. Couple more stitches. One more stitch right there. And I'm going to slip stitch to my very first stitch. Chain one, cut, pull through, tighten up, weave in when I can find my needle. And this block needs to be blocked because it's going from a circle-ish thing to a square. And when I blocked it, the other one, I also blocked the points of the scallops in the round part. And I think this turquoise yarn is different than the turquoise I used there. Might be. And things aren't really the same. There might be some wool. I think I might accidentally have slipped up and that turquoise has some wool in it because it's not the same stretchiness. But that is essentially the block. And again, if you actually block it, it will look a whole lot better. Yes, it's wavy, but again, blocking will help. And here's my, well, the original's there, but there's my original. And it's not perfect because I didn't steam block it. I just pinned it. I didn't have access to steam. But even just pinning it for about 4 or 5 days has helped a lot. You can see how this definitely would benefit from some blocking. So that is the Cherry Blossom in Snow Square. Like I said, it's from DailyCrochet.com. And the designer, her name is Jen Tyler. So it's a pretty, very pretty square. It's just a lot goes into it. A lot goes into it. Very, very labor intensive. That took me about 3 hours. Yes, I did have a couple of mistakes where I had a frog, and we did take some ad breaks, but it does take some time to make the square. So I think that's it for tonight. I know I'm tired because this one took it out of me. I think I might have showed the sneak peek on the other night. For Tuesday, we're doing this. I'm calling this the spiral flower. So this, again, no color changes. I did have to block this, and I did, I wet blocked this. I didn't steam it. I spritzed it with water because this is cotton. All of this was all acrylic, but this is cotton, so I did block it. So this is very lacy. It definitely needs to be blocked. So I will show you how to do this on Tuesday. And I think that's it. I don't think we're going to end up rating anybody because I don't see anybody on currently. Again, I'll be on tomorrow night for our usual Sunday night temperature blanket. And Tuesday will be the spiral flower. I haven't made my samples for the rest of next week yet. One other thing I wanted to give a heads up besides the, let me look at my calendar. And you look at my calendar. Besides Throwback Thursdays starting in July with all the vintage patterns, I have decided, as of now, I'm penciling it in. Things could change, life events can change. But as of now, Sunday, the 16th of July, will be my marathon stream for reaching 100 followers. I'm now at 153. So maybe between now, probably not, but between now and that date, I'll have 200, but we'll see. My marathon stream, and I still have to find, I have the pattern. I got to remember where it is on my computer for a blanket. And I don't know if it's going to be a baby blanket or not, depending on how big it's going to be. But it is going to be a blanket that I will donate to Project Linus. And anybody who doesn't know what Project Linus is, it's an organization. They have chapters all over the country and in Canada where they accept handmade blankets that are crocheted, knitted, quilted, a couple other different types of blankets that are handmade, brand new. They don't want anything used. And it goes to children that are in need, either traumatized, seriously ill, etc. And it's a good cause. So I will be doing that on the 16th. So 16th, there will be no temperature blanket. There will be a stream the night before. So we will have probably a short stream the night before. But the 16th, which is a Sunday, will be our marathon stream starting at 10, going until whenever. Lots of breaks will be taken. So that's what's coming down in July. Again, if you are not yet a member of the Discord, check out the Discord. The link is in the description below here on the Discord, on the Twitch stream, and also on the YouTube channel. And speaking of YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel. All of my streams are uploaded directly to YouTube, raw, uncut. The way you see it here on Twitch is the way you see it on YouTube. So check them out. I've got, I don't know how many videos I have over there. I've probably got, let's take a little look. I have 86 videos there so far. So if you want to see any of the past things that I've done here on stream, that is the place to go. With that being said, let me update that. I think that is it. Oh, I did, for anybody who is interested, in the Discord yesterday, I posted a link in the announcements section. Anybody who's interested in video games, I am not a video gamer, but I have a friend. He is the one who inspired me to start streaming here on Twitch. His channel's name is Frog and Turtle Gaming. He plays all different types of video games. I tune in sometimes. I don't know what he's doing. I tune in because he's my friend, and I pick on him when I'm in there. So if you see me in there giving him some hell, it's from love. But he plays all different types. He plays games. Again, I don't know what else these are. He plays World of Warcraft, Fallout, Outer Worlds, Skyrim, a whole bunch of other ones. So the link is in the description. Also, like I said, his username, his Twitch name is Frog and Turtle Gaming. So check him out. Send him some love his way. He actually has been streaming longer than I have, and he doesn't have a whole lot of followers. He's got like 75 followers. It's his schedule. He usually streams in the afternoon, so he doesn't stream during peak times. But definitely check him out. And with that being said, I think we are going to call it a night. I need to get something to eat, something to drink, go to bed here soon. I am tired. So, everybody, have a good evening. And like I always say,